We have got over 100 cards to look at from the upcoming set. And this set is shaping up to be my favorite set of all time. I love the artwork. I love the dual ink cards. And we've got some ridiculously interesting cards in this very video. Big shout out to Card Market, who sponsor the video. If you guys are excited for the set, give the video a like. This is a mammoth video, and I'm supposed to be on holiday. But no rest for the wicked. We're starting off with Freckless Good Boy. 2/2, questing for 1. When you play this character, chosen opposing character. -1 strength this turn. I want to play with the others. Can I, Dad, please? So there's like a puppy theme deck that's coming through. This card is very lackluster, though, honestly. Would you rather this ability, or would you rather the card quest for 2? And I would probably just rather the card quest for 2, personally. Not a huge fan of this one. Got Drizella, the Spoiled Stepsister, which is a 4/4 stat line. Once again, Drizella was confronted with a simple truth. Life wasn't fair. Tell me about it, Drizella. God. This one's fascinating. So in the last video, I revealed my card, which was a 1/3 Mirabelle with Singer 5 and Evasive. And it was in Amethyst Amber. And this is a Shift Mirabelle, also in Amber Amethyst. Her own special gift. Whenever this character quests, you may return a song card with cost 3 or less from your discard to your hand. The most obvious one that comes to mind, Friends on the Other Side. That is pretty impressive. The Mirabelle Shift, the card that you'd be shifting onto most likely is the one I revealed, like the 1/3 Evasive with 6/5. So that's a bit of a weird one because, you know, you're shifting onto a 3 cost. There are some cheaper Mirabelles, like there's a 2 cost one with support, but it's pretty bad. So I'm actually not super convinced by this one, but it might be all right. I'm not convinced there's that many good cheap Mirabelles. 3 cost one is quite good. There is also another 5 cost song in Amber and Amethyst we're going to be taking a look at. There's definitely the potential of a Madrigal theme deck in Amber Amethyst. But I have to say, I think this one's quite weak. I don't know that it's that good. The problem with this is if you don't shift it, you play it at 6 ink, and then you're going to have to wait a whole turn to quest before it does anything. Admittedly, when it does something, it's very powerful. If you could shift it, get friends back immediately, that's quite powerful. But 2/6 questing for 2, and you're going to have to shift onto maybe like a 3 cost card, that would feel pretty bad. So while this card has a very powerful ability, its stats and its cost harm it. So I don't think this one's amazing. Got Tuk Tuk Bodyguard, a 2 cost uninkable with a 0/1 stat line. But it's got resist 2. That is a very, very fascinating card. Bodyguard with resist. It's pretty bad, isn't it? Would you rather play this or Simba? Simba being a 2/3, the quest for 1 and with Bodyguard, but is inkable. I'd probably just rather play Simba. I almost certainly would. I feel like Tuk Tuk is a worse Simba. Disarmingly cute. It's interesting because obviously the resist, you know, like the 3 willpower this essentially has is better than 3 actual willpower. But I'd rather just have the 2 strength and back to the Simba and Kida in Steel are inkable. So I think this card's really bad. We've got Baymax Low Battery, 2 cost inkable, 3/2 stat line quest for 2. This character enters play exerted. That is a good card. 3/2 questing for 2. So if this card had 2 strength, it would have no ability. So the question is, would you rather play a 2/2, no ability, or would you rather play the 3/2 that enters play exerted? I'm not sure. It's honestly quite good. It's got the same stat line as Banzai as well, but it's inkable, right? So you can compare this to an inkable version of Banzai, but the price of it being inkable is it enters play exerted. Processing data from Arcasia's Thought Scrolls is taking a great deal of power. Extreme Battery Saver Protocol. This card's got potential, for sure. Emerald decks can definitely struggle, like Ruby Emerald, for example, can really struggle against cards like Flynn Rider, where you just don't have many stats on the board early on. And if you already are playing a lot of uninkables elsewhere, then Banzai doesn't seem like a great option. So if you're struggling for your uninkable count, Baymax could see some play, I think. Got the Roger Radcliffe, the Dog Lover. Very poor stats with a 1/2 stat line, questing for 1. That needs a good ability. Whenever this character quests, you may remove up to 1 damage from each of your puppy characters. Well, each is actually big because of synergy with a card like Grandpappy, which is whenever you actually know how Grandpappy, because this would do it all at once. Maybe it wouldn't buff Grandpappy more. I think this card's bad regardless. The best part of completing the obstacle course was finding their human at the stats on this are just really unfortunate. 1-2 is really bad. We're going to be seeing a card in a minute with a 2-1 stat line that costs 1, and that's so much better. Like 1-2 is so lackluster. It just gets traded out by everything, and you lose so much advantage. Like a lot of the time with a card like this, it's better in your Inkwell than it is on. So why are you really at that point? Madam Mim, the cheating spellcaster, 6 cost, 4/5, quest for 2. Play rough. Whenever this character quests, exert chosen opposing character. She only wants rules so she can break them. It's a very powerful ability, and the stats are reasonably good. The problem is it's just very slow. You would, in order for this card to be any good, you would need to ramp into it in some form. So most likely in Sapphire, but maybe even with Lantern. But you play it and it doesn't do anything immediately. You have to play it and then quest. So, you know, if you're playing this without any ramp, it's not going to be until turn 7 that it does anything. And that's just too slow, I think. Like, if you compare it to Elsa, that costs 5, he rushes in and exerts immediately. Card's just really bad. Elsa Trusted Sister. 2/3 stat line questing for 1. That is a vanilla stat line. Whenever this character quests, if you have a character named Anna in play, gain 1 lore. Fear what can't be trusted. If you're playing an Elsa and an Anna deck, this card's really, really good. A 2/3 that quests for 2. Great. Really, really strong. Again, would you rather play a card that just has a 2/2 stat line and always quests for 2? Maybe. But it's also a shift target, let's not forget. We know that the legendary Elsa from set 1, pretty good card as a shift play, so considering. Obviously, you've got the 1/4 Arna in Sapphire. Honey Marin, the Northoldra Guide. 2/2 stat line quest for 1, so it needs a good ability. When you play this character, if an opponent has an exerted character in play, gain 1 lore. It's said to be a bridge between us and the magic of nature. This card's pretty bad because, again, would you rather have this ability or would you rather just have a card that quests for 2? And I would probably just rather have a card that quests for 2. Being able to gain a lore or 2 ink, I mean, it is good. Like in a late game, it's something similar to a White Rose. But like if it's only in the late game you really care, you'd probably just rather play the White Rose. I don't think this one's great. Rhino, the Motivational Speaker. It's an Amber Steel card. Uninkable, and it costs 6, which is very expensive. 4/7 stat line that quests for 2. The ability is Destiny Calling. Your other character +2 willpower. Don't forget, you are awesome. You can handle anything. Now channel your inner awesomeness and clear this trap. Rhino, I'm sorry, mate. You are not awesome. You are very bad. It's expensive. Not that impressive. 2 willpower to all your other characters is nice, but I'd rather play like Rapunzel's Tower, for example. Cost on Inkable than this. 6 cost on Inkable is just 2. Training Staff, which is an item. You can exert it and pay 1 ink, and chosen character gets Challenger 2 this time. Do not sit idle while others quest for glory. It's actually not bad, but it's quite slow. Honestly, not bad. I just don't really see it seeing any competitive play. If ever it was going to see play, it would be with Flavisham, probably, like in an item-heavy deck. Maybe with like Oswald as well. Maybe in that style of deck, it might be good enough. But it's definitely not going to be one of the best items playing. It's like one of the ones that you add in because you simply want more items. This is an awesome card, Thunderbolt Wonder Dog. I promise you guys some good cards. Now, trust me, there is a lot of really amazing ones, and this is one of them. Amber Sapphire, Puppy Shift. You may pay 3 to play this on top of one of your puppy characters. That's awesome. Bodyguard, 3/7, quest for 2. It's a pretty good card. It's a pretty good card. Shift it on like a 1-cost puppy on turn 3, and it can immediately quest for 2. I used to love in set 1 playing just in time into a bodyguard, into like Goofy or Maximus. And this has like the same kind of stat line, but rather than having to play just in time, you can shift it onto one of your puppies. It's pretty good. The question is how good are the puppies? That's going to be the bigger concern, but I'm excited to play a puppy deck. I really, really love this set. It's so awesome. Oh my god, Bucky's back. And big shout out to Rudrose, who built this card and did an awesome little sketch for it. Link will be in the description. Bucky the Naughty Rascal, 3-2. When this character is banished in a challenge, you may draw a card. It's not bad. I wouldn't say it's spectacular either. Like, would you rather play this or Maleficent with a 2-2 stat line that just always draws you a card? Because if this is removed by Let the Storm Rage on... Oh, hang on. I love this bit. He pops the balloon and all those acorns go flying out. Gets me every time. Kronk. I think this one's pretty bad. But welcome back, Bucky. We did not miss you. Pongo, the dear old dad, another Amber Sapphire puppy card. This is exactly why I'm so excited for the dual ink colors. Like, suddenly now have an Amber Sapphire puppy deck. That is really, really awesome. 5-5, quest for 2. At the start of your turn, look at the cards in your inkwell. Pardon? You may play a puppy character from there for free. That's awesome. Now, again, the turn you play it, it doesn't do anything. So you're going to have to wait a turn for it to happen. But I think this could be really good. Because obviously, if you're playing something like a Fishbone Quill or Tipo, you could ink another card like Pongo. So imagine you've inked a Pongo with Tipo, and then you play a Pongo, and then you can pull back another Pongo. Like, suddenly, this is like your big top-end finisher. Honestly, this card actually gives me a bit of hope that the puppy deck could be good. Or like Perdita, right? You'd have like a Perdita in your inkwell that you put away with Tipo, and then you just get to play Perdita for free. That is a really good finisher. This card is honestly cracked, and I'm so excited for this set. Did I mention that already? Oh my days! Did I say I'm excited for this set? Opponent needs 25 lore to win the game. Pardon? And this artwork is insane. It's a 5-6 stat line at quest for 3, and Disney Lorcana is the best card game in the world. Hello? The Flustered Sorcerer. When it comes to magic spells, proper pronunciations is key. Is this card good? Probably not. I don't think it's that good. It's very, very fun. You would obviously need to play this again in a ramp deck, so most likely Sapphire, but maybe Amber, the Lantern, which is a very underrated card. Is it good? Probably not. It's probably not that good. It's probably more of an interesting, fun design and gives you a different win condition. It is very, very cool, though. I love the design of it. Absolutely, I do. I just think that you're probably better off not playing this card on average. Like, what style of deck would you actually want? Again, you need to play it in some sort of ramp deck, so that limits it. But, like, if you just ignore that fact, what kind of deck would you want this win condition? Maybe like a control deck where you're quite slow to get going. If you think about it, it's almost similar to a Pirate's Life, because a Pirate's Life steals lore away from your opponent. And I would say that Donald Duck is just a worse version of a Pirate's Life. Obviously not exactly the same. They're very, very different cards, but it is that same kind of concept. But of course, Donald Duck has to remain on the board for that condition to remain. And if you play like a couple of Pirate Lives, maybe you sing it, for example. But it's a very, very interesting card. I would wager it's not going to be competitive, but you could build some awesome decks with it. If you're playing a mill deck, for example, oh baby. There is actually an Amethyst, some more Amethyst mill cards in this. Maybe. Because a mill deck, the idea of a mill deck is that you just try and stop your opponent getting 20 as much as you possibly can. And you try and, rather than questing yourself, you just try and deck out your opponent. So being able to play a card like this could be really, really interesting. Oh my days! Did I mention I love this set? Hey, Expanded Consciousness. Gift 3, resist 1. When you play this character, put all cards from your hand into your inkwell face down and exerted. Wow. So the main thing you would probably want to try and do with Hey is have items on the board. Draw. So for example, if you've got a Flaversham down on the board, then you could play Hey. All of your characters go into your inkwell, but then you quest out Flaversham and suddenly you've got 2 cards in hand and you've got a million. There are some shift targets. There's actually a vanilla Hey that's later on in this video in steel, which is just 1 cost 2/2. You could build your whole deck around this card and do some very, 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 very fascinating. I imagine it's probably more of a for fun card, but these are my kinds of cards I love that really just like entirely change the dynamic of a Lorcana, and you can build like a completely unique deck around. Like imagine you could find a way of getting Mufasa after this Hey, for example. Bam, could be insane. Barzo. Oh, I didn't get the. I actually know what this card does, but I forgot to put the flavor text in or the translation. But I actually know what it does. It is during your turn, the second character of yours that challenges gains 3. Or it's the second character that has to banish something. Sorry about that. I'll put in the comments what it is. But I think it's quite good. It fits the Ruby Steel challenge deck. Another one. Parcher. I also know what this guy does. Parcher is, if you have more cards in your hand than your opponent, gain 2 lore. I do actually have the translations for almost every other card in here, but I dropped the ball on these. Good thing is I already know what they do. I think this card's quite good. I like the look of this card. I like cards which have a lot of lore and have big stats. And Parcher, if you compare it to Prince Philip, it's probably the closest comparison. Prince Philip has Ward and Quest for 2. Parcher can Quest for 3. Would you rather have a Ward card or would you that is consistently questing for 2? Or would you rather have a card without Ward which can Quest for 3? I'd probably rather play Prince. But Prince Philip's very good. See, the translations are now here. The Queen. 4/3, questing for 1. Not an ordinary apple. Choose 3 cards in an opponent's discard and put them under their deck to gain 3 lore. If you moved at least 1 princess this way, gain 4 lore instead. It's a very interesting card, but I don't think it's very good. It's a 4 cost, which you have to exert for its ability. And it's kind of like questing for 3. In fairness, a 4/3 that quests for 3 is really good. So it is actually quite good. But the problem is, it's like, how early on in the game are you going to be able to use this? Is your opponent going to have 3 cards to put back immediately? Probably not. It's honestly not a bad card, but I'm skeptical that it's that good. It's got some interesting synergy with cards like Sven and Raya, though, which can ready characters, and they may not quest, but of course you can use their ability twice. So you challenge with her first, then ready it with Sven in Amber, or ready it with Raya in Ruby, and then the ability. That would be a pretty play. Definitely not bad. There is also like a Queen theme deck of some sort, but I think that was more like a Sapphire Amber deck in days gone by. I don't really like the look of this card too much, but it's got a lot of stats. It has got potential. I just think the problem is like how often in an early game is your opponent going to have 3 cards in their discard? Probably not often enough. Because also it's like, okay, are they going to have 6 cards in there? Because if you do it once, are you going to be able to do it again? I just think there's probably better cards out there, but honestly, it does have potential. Stabbington Brother with a patch, 4/4, quest for 1. When you play this character, chosen opponent loses 1 lore. It's really bad, probably. There's just better cards out there. There's just no reason to play it. It's actually not that bad, but it's just not going to see play. Stabbington Brother without a patch, 3/4 with Rush. Your other character's name is Stabbington Brother, gain Rush. And suddenly, I mean, it's just still worse than Maui, right? Would you rather have a 5/4 that always rushes, or this? Hero Hamada, the armor designer. So there's a bit of a theme of Emerald Sapphire having like some Floodborn synergy this set. Your Floodborn characters that have a card under them gain Evasive and Ward. That is honestly nuts. Like imagine you've got a Evasive Ward Clarabelle. Or an Evasive Ward Baymax with the Universal Shift. Because the Baymax and the Clarabelle are both really good already. Like I think both of those cards will see play in the Emerald Sapphire deck next set. I've been playing Emerald Sapphire a lot. Obviously this set is kind of the deck I've played the last few months, and I'm particularly excited about the Baymax actually. I think the Baymax is insane for the deck. The more I've thought about it, the more I like it. A big problem with this Hero Hamada is like the shift targets are just not particularly, I think. Obviously you could play Morph. But I don't think this. It is honestly huge potential. Obviously if you shift it itself, it also has Evasive and Ward. I'm just not convinced that the shift targets for it are that good, but maybe they are. Maybe they are. This one has potential. I just think most likely going down a whole Floodborn synergy route is probably not the way. Obviously, it was back when Bucky existed. But even then, it was just like you played Bucky and you played a bunch of Floodborns, but most of the Floodborns were just really good in their own right, and you didn't have to shift them. The fact that you have to shift the Floodborns for them to be evasive and ward just means that this card's probably not good. But it's a very cool card. And the more Floodborns you get, the better it becomes. Obviously, you have access to Morph, but the thing is like, you want to be ramping on 2. You want to be playing Tipo or Sail or 1 jump on turn 2. You don't want to be playing. That's probably why I don't like the look of the card so much. But having said that, Morph plus Under the Sea synergy, right? Like being able to sing Under the Sea, like Hero Hamada and like a deep card is quite a powerful tool for Sapphire. But I don't think this one's going to see. But it has potential. Penny the Orphan, the Clever Child, 2/1 stat line, questing for 2. So just 1 willpower less than a vanilla card. While you have a hero character in play, this character gains ward. Penny dear, don't cry now, we're here to help you. It's not bad. Would you rather play this or Anna, the 1/4, which if you have a hero it quests for 2? Maybe I'd rather play Penny. That's quite good. That is quite good. I don't know if it's that good though. It's quite good. TikTok, the Relentless Crocodile, 5/6, quest for 1. During your turn, this character gains evasive while a pirate character. This card would be great in draft, but I just don't think it's probably cutting it elsewhere. Honestly, maybe in like a Sapphire Steel Whole New World deck, there's probably just better options though. But it's actually not bad at all. This card's honestly pretty good. But I think the other evasive TikTok is like a 6 cost, if I'm not mistaken. That's not bad at all. 5/6 evasive is no joke. That can take out a half shark. But it cannot live to tell the tale. That's important. You can get an evasive card which can take out half shark and survive, then you're talking, right? John Silver, the Vengeful Pirate in Emerald Steel. If an opposing character was damaged this turn, you pay 2 ink less to play this character. So it's basically going to cost 6. And it has resist 1. And whenever you play an action that isn't a song, you may deal 1 damage to chosen character. This is interesting because Improvise is a really good card next set with like the illusions. So someone pointed out like there was another card. I think it was a Smee in Emerald Steel, like the 3-cost Smee. Does something whenever you play an action. Something like that, right? Like it wasn't song synergy, it was just specifically actions. And Improvise is probably the card that comes to mind the most. It's a 1-cost, draw a card and give 1+ strength to a character because you can use it on your opponent's illusions, on like the Giant Cobra, for example, which I think will be quite a meta card in Amethyst Steel. But it also draws and replaces itself, right? And suddenly if you're playing 1 for Improvise to give something 1 extra challenge, and it's also dealing 1 damage, suddenly you've got a pretty good potential deck. I still would imagine that Emerald Steel might just be favoring like a Diablo route and maybe wants to prioritize Songs of Ursa the Deceiver of All. But maybe. That's not bad. I don't think it would play though. Maybe. The Phantom Blot, the Shadowy Figure, 3/1 Rush. It's the same card as the Rocket Stitch with different tags. Nobody knows who or what he really is or what he's planning. I certainly don't. Apparently he's like one of the early Mickey Mouse baddies. Ekar, the Lava Monster, 5/6 Challenger 2, quest for 2. You want to get to Tefiti, you're going to have to get through a whole ocean of bad, not to mention Tekar. Yeah, it's not great, is it? Wendy Darling in Amber Ruby, 5/7. It costs 7, which is a lot, and quest for 2, but it is evasive. It can take out a half shark, but it cannot live to tell the tale. Whenever one of your other characters is banished, you may remove all damage from chosen character. It's got potential. It's honestly got potential. Not bad at all. But it's probably not quite worth it. This is a Mufasa card. Play this in an Amber Ruby Mufasa deck. Might be better options still. Jasmine, the Inspired Researcher, is Sapphire and Steel. Honestly, this card is quite good. This card is quite good. I'm being a bit hot. Got good tags. I don't know, though. Kind of a bit unconvinced. Jasmine in Sapphire Steel, 3/5, quest for 2. Whenever this character quests, if you have no cards in your hand, draw a card for each ally character you have in play. That could be great. There is a lot of ally cards. Oh, this is wonderful. I knew Arcasia Thought Scrolls would be worth a little extra effort. I knew Arcasia's Thought Scroll. Oh. Got Arcasia's Thought Scrolls. What are they? What is on? We're not quite sure what's happening in the story of Arcasia's Island. We need to try and piece it together. We've almost got all of the reveals. By the way, on Saturday, Sunday, there's a big Disney Lorcana tournament I'm going to be streaming from Gamescom lands. Look out for that. I think this card's got potential for sure. I like it a lot, actually. Oh, it could be. Pluto, it's got support, and it's a 2/2. Sorry, I didn't translate it. I dropped the ball on that one. I translated this one, though. I don't think it's very good. But there is like a Pluto shift, right? This one is dealing 1 damage to up to 2 chosen characters. We've had enough of your nonsense. Take that, says Merryweather. I'd rather play Baboom. Baboom can deal 2 damage to 1 thing. This can deal 1 damage to 2 things. Can't deal 1 damage to the same thing twice. It's not just a better Baboom. You can't damage the same thing twice. For Anastasia, bossy stepsister. I'm loving these. 3/1 quest for 2. Big. That is really good stats potentially. Whenever this character is challenged, the challenging player chooses and discards a card. It's a Flynn Rider. It's a Merfolk. Ooh. You know what? I like this card. I like this card a lot, actually. It's an interesting one. Because Merfolk, Flynn Rider, these kinds of cards, usually if you challenge them, have a big lack of ball presence. But this is applying a similar amount of pressure. But it has big stats. Obviously, the concern is it's a really good target for removal. But this one has potential. Do not sleep on these Emerald cards with big... Something that Emerald decks struggle with a lot. I think this one is okay. I don't know, though. It's okay. I don't know, though. You could play this on turn 3 and Prince John on 4. Right. Okay, this is maybe my favorite card of the set so far. The Return of Hercules. The 5-cost inkable action. It's a legendary. The first legendary action we've got in Disney Lorcana, which is crazy to think. Each player may reveal a character card from their hand and play it for free. Congratulations, Wonder Boy. You'll make one heck of a god. So what is the application for this? And it's simple. It's Robin Hood. It's Emerald. It's Ruby. Why? Because you can now play Half Shark in a Ruby Robin Hood deck. And you play like big cards, like 6 and 7 cost cards potentially in Ruby Emerald. Big problem Ruby Emerald has at the moment is it kind of wants to play the Half Shark with like all the actions. Obviously, you guys know I played a lot of Ruby Emerald in the previous set, and I just haven't really touched it this set. It got You Came Back, which is a great card, but you basically want to play this in a discard deck, but also with Robin Hood, where you're rewarded for a bunch of actions. Like, if this goes through, all you need is your Robin Hood to quest once. Get, like, let's say You Came Back, and then ready your Robin Hood and quest again. Get Return of Hercules. And you might have discarded your opponent's hand already, perhaps. Maybe you haven't. But then you can just play a Half Shark down on the board for free without actually having to get 2/6 ink, which is a big problem. Like, with the Half Shark, it's too expensive, really, to play currently because you just don't have enough consistent card draw in Ruby Emerald to get to 6 ink that reliably. But with this, you can play 4 copies of Half Shark, I think. And obviously, you're trying to discard your opponent's hand. But even if they get to play a character for free, there's a good chance then that they aren't going to be able to play, you know, the next turn. That might have been the last card in their hand. Obviously, in an ideal world, you've discarded their entire hand and then you play this. Then it's just insane. Like, I think this actually gives Ruby Emerald a serious shout next set. I think this card's great. I'm really excited to try it. I am very much looking forward to it. Raya, the Guidance Seeker, is a 1/4 card that quests for 2. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, this character gains resist 1 until the start of your next. It's pretty good. It's pretty okay. Pretty damn good. In an aggro deck, it's great. The problem is in an aggro deck is how many times are you... This is a good card. It's not spectacular. You could kind of compare it to the Prince, which is a 1/3 with resist 1. It also has Bodyguard. Probably the Prince is a bit better, and it doesn't... Probably not that. It's a shift target as well. Kainu, the Protective Brother, 2/4, quest for 1. At the end of your turn, if this character is exerted, you may ready another chosen character of yours and remove. I think it was on Reddit, or I saw it on, or maybe on Twitter, but someone mentioned like the Beast Bodyguard card. I don't actually know, it's called like the Relentless Protector or something, which basically whenever one of your characters takes damage, the damage goes onto this card. So Kainu plus that could be pretty spicy. Probably the combo there. Queen of Farts losing her temper 1/4. When this character has damage, she gets +3 strength. Something told the Illumineers she'd had enough of the obstacle. I don't think this one's great, but it is a shift target for the Queen of Hearts. The Family Madrigal. This is the card I was talking about earlier. This is a banger. This enables obviously the Mirabelle that I revealed. This kind of explains why that card exists, as it is a 5-cost song in Amber. Huge for Ariel, obviously, and all those Singer 5 cards, including, of course, the Mirabelle Madrigal, the 1/3 evasive 5 that I revealed. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You may reveal up to 1 Madrigal character and up to 1 song card and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the top of your deck in any order. This card is so good. Wow. This card's insanely good. You can sing it. Right, if you compare it to Friends on the other side, it's probably the best way to compare it. Like, Friends draws you 2 cards. Okay? Job done. This draws you 2 cards most of the time. Obviously, sometimes you're not going to hit a Madrigal on a song, but most of the time you probably will. So it's going to draw you 2 cards, and you have flexibility of what you choose. But very, very key and very, very crucially, put the rest on top of your deck in any order. So it's also like a boss on the roll. Which, why is that important? Well, because Bruno Madrigal is like the central card in these decks. You've also got Sven in Amber, which Sven, you can use Bruno's ability, put the card in your hand, gain a law, and then you can play Sven, which readies Bruno, and while he's not able to challenge your quest again, he can use his. I've been playing a Bruno Madrigal deck in Ruby and Amethyst with like Fan the Flames and LeFou and Raya, and being able to ready Bruno is really, really strong. This card's just great because it enables card draw and Bruno stuff all at the same time. And you can sing it obviously with Ariel, you can sing it with Madrigal, the 1/3 evasive. And it's enabling the Madrigal deck. I'm excited for the Madrigal deck. Is it going to be amazing? I don't know, probably not. But honestly, Bruno is a very good card. So maybe it could be good. I'm excited for it. Aladdin. I didn't translate this one. I'm sorry, I suck. When this character quests, not even going to. It'll be in the comments. Pepper Madrigal, Sensitive Sister, 3-cost Ingable, 2/4, quest for 1. Whenever one or more of your characters sings a song, gain 1 lore. This card's not bad. Arcasia's calming presence helped Pepper dispel her dark mood. This card's kind of good, but it's probably not that good, right? We saw like the Alan Adale card, which also gains lore when you're playing songs, and I thought that would be good, but it never really. Dolores Madrigal within earshot, 1/2. Obviously, these are also Madrigal cards for the Madrigal theme deck, so maybe it could be good. Whenever one of your characters sings a song, chosen opponent reveals their hand. He heard Mariano's heart skip a beat. Was it because of the puzzle, or was he looking at it? It was because of the puzzle. It's pretty bad, isn't it? 1/2 is such a bad stat line. Cirque, 2/2, quest for 2. An owl in charge? Oh, he glared at the others. Then his eye fell on the target set up nearby, and he brightened. But as long as I still get to joust, it's not a bad card, you know. It's not a bad card at all. I quite like 2/2 cards that quest for 2. If there's a shift, it could be good. Susie, 3/4, quest for 2. Cost 4. The devoted mice were excited to surprise Cinderella with a new smiling. Arcasia gave them a spool of magic thread. This will make it perfect, she said. The 3/4 that quest for 2, but it costs 4. It's too expensive. This card's great. Snow White, fairest in the land. What an artwork, by the way. This character can't be challenged. A true heart can thwart many an evil scheme. This card is very, very good. This card is very, very good. Okay, it can be brawled. Okay, it can be baboomed. It can be fire the cannons. It can be Tinkerbelled. It can be grab your sworded. All sorts can deal with it, but it can't be challenged, and that is a very, very powerful keyword. It's inkable as well. That's key. In this set, there's Mr. Big, which is like characters which cost with 2 strength or more. I think it's like can only be challenged by characters of less. That card's almost good, but it's uninkable. But the fact this is inkable, I think this card's really good at an aggro deck. I like it a lot. I really like this card. Milo Thatch, the Undaunted Scholar, 2/2 quest for 1. Whenever you play an action card, you may give chosen character +2 strength this turn. That is pretty good. That is pretty good. Okay, we rotated the globe to move the mural into position. We have the coordinates, let's go. That is not bad at all. Obviously, Ruby Emeralds with lots of actions come to mind. Because again, those decks really struggle with like early game board control. Being able to give, you can also give himself extra strength. Also a shift target for the Emerald Milo Thatch. I don't think it's quite good enough, but it's honestly not a bad card. Pain. Wasn't there something we had to do for the boss? Was it to test these arrows, or is it panic? An Olaf. Each player draws 3 cards. This is potentially a mill card. Is a super rare 2-cost uninkable action. Don't know what the flavor text is, unfortunately. Yzma. Wow, what an awesome Yzma. Cat. 2-cost inkable, 2/1, quest for 1. I win. When this character is banished, if you have more cards in hand than each opponent, you may return her to your hand. Yes, I already learned this lesson. I'll bounce a few times more. I don't think it's great, to be honest. I feel like it's a worse Hey Hey from Amethyst. Like a Hey Hey card, which is similar. Like just whenever it's banished, I think challenge back to your hand. This is whenever it's banished, but you have to have more cards in hand than your. Cinderella, 4-cost, 2/4, quest for 2. That's some pretty interestingly decent stats. If it's got a good ability, it could be great. If the sipper fits, when you play this character, you may put an item card named the glass sipper from your card on the bottom of your. So the glass sipper is like an item card which you have to exert a prince. Like a 2-cost uninkable item. You exert a prince and you search your deck for a princess and put it in hand. And you can only play 2 of them in your deck. And I was kind of like, it's not that good, but this makes sense. Play it with the Cinderella. And honestly, the combos there are damn good. Gaining 3 lore is no joke. That's a lot of lore. This has got potential. Chernabog, 2/6. It's 5-cost uninkable and it quests for 1. But not great stats across the board, I would say. When you play this character, each opponent chooses and exerts one of their characters they can't ready. I'd rather play Elsa still. Jebediah Farnsworth, 3/3. It has support and it quests for 1. And I got your 4 basic food groups. When you play this character, chosen character gains resist 1 until the start of your next. Pretty bad. Shere Khan, I like this card. It quests for 4. Of course I like it. I love cards that quest for 4. 4-cost uninkable with a 4/4 stat line. Insane stats, mate. This card is wildly good. But unsurprisingly, the ability is a downside. What a pity. When you play this character, discard your hand. He'd be the first to tell you it's a great aggro card. Play this in an aggro deck, and it's the last card in hand. It's just absolutely absurd. The card is so strong. Love it. This is a 5-cost song, Sapphire, and you put up to 2 cards from your discard into your Inkwell face down. Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a ring full of memory. This card's good. Amber Sapphire comes to mind in particular with Ariel. Ariel, you obviously cast on as well. Odie synergy there as well, potentially. Put 2 cards from your discard into your Inkwell. For 1 jump ahead, for example, that you played. Sail the Azurite Sea. Popsicle. I think this card's kind of got to be good, but you really do want to be singing it. I think it's an Amber Sapphire card, would be my gut feeling. Penny, Bolt's Person. 2-cost inkable, 1/2 in Amber Steel. Questing for 2. When you play this character, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character and they gain resist 1. Start of your next. Not great, is it? Not great at all. Lyle Tiberius Rog. This is a banger. It's an 8-cost inkable, 6/4, questing for 3. Once during your turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, deal 2 damage to each character in play. Wow. That includes your own, by the way. I finished my coffee and I'm now onto the flat sparkling water. Brilliant. This card's kind of got to be good. I don't know if it will see play though, but imagine you could get to like Ruby Steel and you could get to this. The thing is like it costs 8 and then you need to keep inking in order to achieve it. So it needs to be in a deck which has an abundance of ink. So realistically, it's going to be Sapphire. Maybe. It's got amazing stats. It's got amazing stats. You could play it. It can immediately trigger its ability. It does include itself, by the way. That is very important to know. It does include it. I would imagine it's not amazing. Won't quite. way into these decks, but maybe it does. It does. Steel Coil. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, you may draw a card and then choose. It's uninkable. Probably not quite good enough, to be honest. Ruby Coil. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, chosen character gets +2 strength this turn. Probably not good enough. Amber Coil. During a turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. Now, this one could be good enough in a Grandpappy deck. Amber Sapphire with Grandpappy? Maybe. The big problem those decks have is there's still no like self-damaging cards in Amber Sapphire. That's what it's really lacking. Ana. There is the other coil somewhere. We'll get to it. 4 cost, Inkable, 2/3, quest for 2. It has support. And when you play this character, chosen opposing character can't ready at the start of it. Honestly, not bad at all. It is not bad. 2/3 with support. Like this stat line, you would basically expect a 3/3 with support. So the Winter Ambush loses you, which is a pretty big deal because of Brawl. I kind of doubt that it's good enough, but it's a shift target. That's worth mentioning. There is like a big expensive Ana. It's honestly not bad at all. Basil, the Secret Informer, the final part of the crown. Jafar will be pleased. I think I also read it on Reddit. Someone was like, I really hope Basil gets redeemed in the story and like are a key part of defeating Jafar because poor Basil. Poor Basil. 6 cost Inkable, 3/6, questing for 3. Whenever this character quests, opposing damaged characters gain Reckless. Seems like it's probably a... Honestly, it would be really good in a mill deck. Kind of good. Reckless to lots of stuff. I don't know about Basil. It's quite expensive. It does get Medusa'd. It gets Ice Block Brawled. Quite easy to deal with, isn't it? The problem again with this card is it's very, very slow. It doesn't do anything until it quests. And often it's going to be turn 7 and probably just not play. Baymax upgraded robot 3/5 with support. Support's a very powerful keyword. Questing for 1. When you play this character, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a Bloodborne character and put it into your hand. It replaces itself if you have an abundance of Bloodborne. Not really convinced by Baymax. The Universal Shift one is better. That's for sure, but obviously that's limited to Sapphire Emerald. I don't feel like this card is quite good enough. Maurice, the Unconventional Inventor. When you play this character, you may banish chosen item of yours to draw a card. If the banished item is named Maurice's Machine, you may also banish chosen character with 2 strength or less. It's like a bad Flaversham, but in Ruby. So if you want to play like Ruby Steel, you don't have Flaversham, suddenly you've got Maurice. And he has 5/2 stats, which is quite cool. It's not when it quests either, only when it played. So basically you want to play this, draw a card, and then start challenging with it. But what is Maurice's Machine? Well, when this item is banished, you may return an item card with cost 2 or less from card 2. So you pay 3 for it, and then you get another item back. So you basically pay 3 to have an extra item on the board. Get a Fortress Field. Not convinced by either of these two, to be honest. Not really too convinced. And obviously, if you banish it with Maurice, then you've got like a Brawl. He's honestly quite good. It's just comparing him to Flaversham, he's bad. But whatever you compare to Flaversham is kind of bad. So, and obviously, like, therefore you might say, well, maybe if you're not playing Sapphire, but then the Maurice's Machine is a Ruby Sapphire card. Which kind of makes these a bit weird. Cheshire Cat, 4/3 quest for 2. When you play this character, you may deal 2 damage to chosen damage character. That's a pretty good ability, and it's got great stats. He's not your average cat after all. Then again, what cat is? Honestly, quite good. Will it see play? Probably not. Kind of like it if it quested for 3. Slightly lower strength. Fix It Felix Jr., 4/4, quest for 2. Let's get to work. Whenever you return a racer card from your discard to your hand, you may ready chosen racer card. They can't quest for the rest of this turn. So there's like a racer theme deck going on in Amber Ruby, but I'm pretty unconvinced. Like the Sugar Rush Speedway is the best card in that, and it didn't really seem to get any support this set. It got like racer support, but the racers don't really synergize that much with the location. I'm not really too convinced by the racer. Cogsworth, which is going to be a 5/3. If you have an item card in your discard, which is very strong. Top Shelf, sure. If it's a book, The Mademoiselle wants, I'll find a way to get it for her. Not bad. It's definitely not bad. 5-3. That is very good stats. This card's cracked. This card's so good. So I've been saying in this video that 1-2 is a really bad stat line for a 1-cost character. But interestingly, a 2-1 is like the perfect stat line for a 1-cost character. And the reason I say that is in Disney Lorcana, like, the game is balanced. If you want to have a good ability, you need to like make up for it somewhere in having less than vanilla stats. So like a vanilla stat line card is a 2-2 that quests for 1. The Milan is worse stats than a vanilla card because it only has 1 willpower. But for that 1 willpower, you get an amazing ability. So this is basically the reverse version of Simba, which is a 1-2. And Simba's like an okay card, but the problem is 1-2 is such a bad stat line because it just gets efficiently traded by everything, right? Like your opponent can take it out with a 2-2, whatever it might be, it's just getting wrecked. Now Mulan gets traded out really efficiently by like the 1-3 1-drops, but those are just not very common, which just makes this card insane. When you play this character, you may draw a card, then choose and discard. That is so good. This is one of the best 1-drops in the game, and it's certainly one of the best 1-drop steals. Also a shift option. There's like an Amber Milan, but moreover the Ruby Milan, which we know is like a potentially great card. There just isn't an abundance of great shift targets for it. Well, this is one of the best 1-drops. And it's one of the best shift targets in the game as well, because when you play it, it does something, and then you can... This card is so good. This will see a ton of play. Really strong card. Treasure Guardian, the Foreboding Sentry. It's a 4-cost, inkable, 3/3 quest for 2. When you play this character, if you have an illusion character in play, you may draw. Kind of similar to Dolores Madrigal, which is if your opponent has an exerted character, you may draw a card. I think Dolores is better, and Dolores doesn't really see any play. Probably not. Helga Sinclair, 2-cost uninkable. This card would be good if there's a good shift Helga, which there's like the Emerald Steel one, well, the Emerald one, which you might play in Emerald Steel, obviously with this card as well. I've always quite liked, but it is uninkable, and I liked it back in like set 3. I don't really know that it's good enough now, but keep an eye on like good Helga shifts, because then this card becomes better. During your turn, this character gains evade. It's uninkable, that's the problem. This one is a 2/6 questing for 2 in Amber and Emerald. Now it's a party. For each character you have in play, you pay 1 ink. You pay 1 ink less to play this character. And when you play this character, you may draw a card for each other character you haven't played. Then this card's very good, I think. The Amber Emerald decks are kind of looking to go very wide and quite aggressive, and therefore this card could be very, very cheap if you're like 4 ink for it. Being able to draw a bunch and discard a bunch just allows you to find like your big cards, like the Lady card, adds cards from discard back to your hand. I think it's got potential. I'm quite interested in trying the Amber Emerald. Also, like it can help you find Clarabelle, for example. Got potential. Li Shang in Ruby and Steel. 2/3 quest for 1. It is uninkable. I won't let you down. This character can challenge ready characters. Hello. And if this character is damaged, he gets +2 strength. It's not bad at all, is it? A 4/3 if damaged. Probably a bit too slow though, but being able to challenge ready characters is... Obviously, if you can give this some extra strength as well, it'd be great. Fidget is a 2/3 questing for 2. It's evasive, and I took care of everything. Whenever this character quests, chosen other character of yours gains evasive in the start of your next. That's not bad. 2/3 stat line is a bit sad because it can be ruled. But what I like about this is I could give my Robin Hood evasive. The problem with Fidget is that I would play Fidget on 4. I would quest a Fidget. Like what do I give evasive? Like if it costs 3 or if it costs 5, like you play Robin Hood and you play Fidget on different turns, but you kind of want to give your Robin Hood evasive. You would play Fidget on 4, Robin Hood on 5. Really work, does it? Not until like don't care about the Robin Hood being evasive until quested. It's actually a pretty good card though. I do like it because you could also give Maui evasive. Like you could play Fidget on turn number 4, play Maui on 5, quest a Fidget, and suddenly your Maui's evasive. This card's pretty good, you know. I like this card. I do like this card a lot. Merfolk evasive, give Prince John evasive. It's not bad at all. It is not bad at all. This card's pretty good. I do like it quite a lot. You're kind of overloading brawl removal in Ruby Emerald anyway, with like Robin Hood, Curse Merfolk, Diablo. I think this card's actually really good. Honestly, I like this card a lot. I obviously like Ruby Emerald, so Minnie Mouse Storyteller 1/2. Whenever you play a character, the character gets +1 willpower this turn. So if you're playing like a Rockstar Stitch deck and you play a ton of characters all at once, this character could like quest for 10 with Pride Lands. I do think there's potential of a Pride Lands Rockstar Stitch deck coming into the meta at some point. I've always believed in that deck to some extent. Wasn't quite there, but honestly, one day maybe it will be. Maybe this could help push it in that direction. This is insanely strong with Rockstar Stitch. Just one more. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character loses strength equal to this character's score until the start of your next. I like it. In a Rockstar Stitch deck. I think it's more of like a meme deck, probably still the Rockstar Stitch decks. But this card could literally quest for 20 in one Stitch deck. That's kind of cool. I love this card. I love this card. I think this card's really good. Mickey Mouse Inspirational Warrior. 2 cost uninkable, 1/1, quest for 1. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may play a character for free. Now, a lot of you are going to say, Specie, how the hell are you going to get this to work? The thing is, you don't need to get it to work for it to be good, because the threat of it working is enough. You play this and your opponent can't quest. And I think what a lot of people are missing with this card is it's a great shift target. You're playing like a whole new world deck, for example, Bar, Amethyst, Steel, have also the new Jafar, which gives +2 Challenger, +2 Strength, whatever it is for the turn, so it could be 1. Summon a big Jafar for free, that's pretty good. So you're going to play this and your opponent's going to basically not quest. But the other thing that you can do with it is you can shift the Mickey Mouse Sorcerer onto this, which, while it isn't a spectacular card, it's already one of the most cards in the game. 1 cost Mickey, that's a 1/2, 1. So suddenly, like the Mickey Mouse shift approach with this card as well is pretty insane. And obviously, if you're playing a whole new world, this card becomes better. I honestly really like this card. I think it's great. I think it's huge potential. I will be playing this in Jafar. Probably the first deck I play of the set might just be Jafar with this card in there. I really like the look of it. Gizmo Duck is an Emerald Steel card, 4/3 with resist. 1. This character can challenge ready damage characters. That's pretty good. I don't know that it's good enough, but it is very good. Resist 1, big stats and a big ability. Restoring the Crown. Oh my days. Amethyst Steel only. The Hexwell surge with pure creative energy. Fuse the Crown's pieces in a final burst of power. Exert all opposing characters. Whenever one of your characters banishes another character in a challenge, this turn gain 2 lore. If this card was just like not limited to Amethyst Steel, it would be very, very scary. The fact it's limited to Amethyst Steel, I'm not really sure there's a deck that comes to mind that wants to make, but maybe. You could build your whole deck around it. 6 cost uninkable action is very, very expensive. So, but you could build a whole deck around this as a finisher, and that's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing if you can do anything with it. I'm skeptical, but maybe. Honestly, this set's so good. I love it. I'm so excited. Beagle Boys in Ruby Sapphire. This card's great. 3/3 quest for 2. Whenever this character quests, chosen character of yours gains rush and resist 1 this turn. You play this on turn 3 after a Tipo or Sail, and then you can play the 5 cost Donald Duck, which gives you extra ramp, and it could rush. That's a nice combo. Lady Tremaine, another legendary. 3/3 quest for 2. You can exert her and return chosen damaged character to their player's hand, then each opponent discards a card. Very slow. Too slow. It's also uninkable. I do love a bit of discard action, but I'm not really a believer in it. Again, it's got great synergy with cards like Sven and Raya, the ability multiple times. But yeah, I think it's too slow. Yzma 2/2 quest for 1. When you play this character, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. It's like a Cinderella. One of these must be the right lever, but I'll be a llama's aunt if I can figure out which one. I don't think this card's very good. Obviously, a shift target for the Amethyst, Yzma, but you already have more for that. Hey! Arcasia, why is he wearing a coconut? Shenze, it's probably better not to ask. Obviously, a shift target for the Hey we looked at earlier. Big shout out to my friend Rosie, Cozy Board Games, who revealed this one. We've got Dawson, the puzzling sleuth. I say, what sort of contraption is this? 1/2, which is a stat line, a hate on a 1 cost. It costs 1. Once during a turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, look at the top card of your deck. You may put it on either the top or the bottom of your deck. I don't think so. It's just the stats are so bad. Emerald Coil. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. The Coil, Martin War, lifted his spirits as well as his body. I don't think so. Expensive and uninkable. Okay, this is the one you were waiting for. The Sapphire Coil. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, you may give chosen character -2. A single flash of light from the coil on Ventura's leg could blind any foe. Obviously, this card's insane and it's going to be quite meta-defining, but I definitely think it's not as good as people think it is. Let me explain why. I've thought about this card a lot. It costs 2, which obviously this card is absolutely absurd. Suddenly you can like brawl and little Sisu, like all kinds of things, but it is slow. You can't play this on turn 2 because you need to ramp on turn 2. So when can you actually play this? On turn 3, you don't want to play this. On turn 4, you don't really want to play this. Maybe like turn 5 or turn 6, you could get this down. So compared to an Ice Block is great on curve. You play an Ice Block on 1 and that's really good. But you just can't play this on curve. So you can't really get this down until later. And that's a big deal. And the other thing is this card does kind of get wrecked pretty heavily by a card like Ben. Benja is very likely to make a big comeback this set. I think Benja is an amazing... If your opponent plays like a Sapphire Cool quite early in the game, Benja it, that feels so bad for them. So while this card is absolutely absurd, and it will see a lot of competitive play, and it will be quite meta-defining, I think it's actually not as good as people think. But it is also insane. I am looking forward to playing this card in Sapphire Emeralds with the Muses. I think it could be really good in that deck. Amethyst Coil. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your Inkwell, you may move 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opposing character. All of these are uninkable. Most of them are, and that kind of just ruins them. Shenzei's Coil Flared, sending a tendril of mystical energy towards the damage glimmer. Moana, she's a 4/3 evasive. The quest for 1, whenever this character challenges another character, another chosen character of yours gets +3. Okay. We've got Company, 3 cost, uninkable. Ready all your characters, they gain Reckless this turn. There's some synergy potential with this. You can do some wacky things with this. There's like a card which like your Reckless characters can quest or something. There's like some sort of card like that. There's like some synergy you can do with this. But obviously 3 cost uninkable action is going to be tricky to work. Well, as usual, Diplomacy has failed us. But I think there's like a combo deck you can build with this one. Out of Order, banish chosen character. The last thing any gamer wants to see, a red card. That is it's not. Machine's Out of Order. Pretty good. Pretty good. There's like the 7 cost uninkable, which is like banish a character and draw a card. But it's uninkable. This is basically that, but it's basically a Dragonfire, which is cost more. Not bad. Important to note, you can't use it with Robin Hood Sharpshooter, because Robin Hood Sharpshooter is 6 or less. Grand Marfar, 2 costs, 1 quest for 2. This has potential if it's got a good ability, because that's some poor stats, but it quests for 2. Whenever this character quests, you may choose one of your characters, gain +2 strength for the rest of this turn. Fear will make you suffer, luck will allow you to get out. I don't think it's that. Kida with Ward, and you can exert her and look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 in your Inkwell face down and exerted the other. The problem with this card is it has to be exerted to do it. So I don't think it's very good. If it quested and did it, it would be great. Donald, 2 cost, uninkable, 1/1, quest for 2. The ability is Action Duck. Whenever this character is challenged, you may return an action card that isn't a song from your discard to your hand. That is spicy. Improvise would be a good option. The problem is, it's like, what action cards would you have in your discard early on in the game? Because you're going to play this on turn 2 because it's uninkable. Diablo, I guess. Like, Diablo could discard something, right? I don't know about this one. Before I get more notifications. Probably not. Prince is like a 0/5 bodyguard. That is a pretty good card. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of interested in that one. It is uninkable. Lucky, which is a 3 cost uninkable puppy with a 1/3 stat line that quests for 2. Whenever this character quests the top 2 cards of your deck, you may reveal any number of puppy character cards and put them in, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck. Good in a puppy deck. 1/3 that quests for 2 is kind of bad stuff. If you're adding 2 cards to hand, I'm excited for the poppies. We got a legendary. It's a 5 cost 4/3 bodyguard that quests for 2, and it's got bodyguard. When you play this character, when this character is banished during an opponent's turn, deal 2 damage to each opposing character. That card is kind of spicy. Good with just in time. The bodyguard. I know that's probably not a deck that is going to see any play, but that was like a set 1 deck. But interesting card. There's no doubt about that. It's an interesting. I imagine it's not spectacular. Has potential though. It does have potential. Like if you're playing an aggro deck, the things you struggle against are like mid-rangey decks where they get like really favorable trades and they just run away with the board. But suddenly you've got a bodyguard, which also gives you got big stats, and it's gonna take out maybe a couple of your characters. Honestly, it's got potential. Down to Isabella Madrigal, 3/3 quest for 4. I do love a card that quests for 4. I don't want to be perfect. Whenever one of your characters sings a song, this character can't be challenged until the start of your next turn. Wait, what? Holy moly, Batman, this card's insane. I just made something unexpected, something sharp, something new. Give me the the Madrigal theme deck already. Guys, this set is so good. Did I mention that? We got another legendary. It's Baloo. 6 cost uninkable, 5/4 that quests for 2. Your characters of 7 strength or more can't be dealt damage. So that's good with the Lyle that we looked at. I imagine this card's not great though. Now move. That's it. Now give me a big bear growl. Scare me. We've got the Cybug, which is this character gets +1 strength for each other character you have in play. Probably not great. It could be like a 3/2 if you've got 2. It's bad. Kronk! It's got Ward, and if an effect would cause you to discard 1 or more cards, you don't. So this is going to be good with the cards in Emerald Amethyst that make you discard your own. Like there was a card we looked at earlier, or in one of the previous videos, which is like both players discard. Suddenly, it was a Cuzco, wasn't it? It's like a 4-cost Cuzco. Suddenly, you play the Cuzco and then you play the Kronk. Your opponent discards, you don't. Honestly, I can kind of see it. I actually really like Emerald Amethyst discard decks. I think they're very underrated. I love a bit of Prince John. I think a lot of people are like, oh my god, the Emerald Amethyst cards suck, but they suck in like the current deck. But I've always liked Emerald Amethyst discard. Kronk plus Cuzco is interesting. There's no doubt about that. A lot of uninkables though. Kenite, 1/4 with Challenger 2, quest for 1. During your turn, whenever this character is banished in a challenge, return this character to your hand and gain lore. Oh, that's pretty damn good. I like that card a lot. The problem is, like you take out a maybe I don't like it. It's interesting. It's not bad. I don't know if I like it a lot, but I don't hate it. I quite like it. Mother Gothel Vein Sorceress, 1/4 quest for 1. Whenever one of your characters challenges, you may remove 1 damage counter from chosen character to chosen opponent. I don't know when this comes in. I think the way this works is the challenge finishes, then you move damage, but it's possible that you challenge, this ability happens. I think it's afterwards. So you can challenge, there's damage counters, and you can move. It's probably not great though, is it? Awesome art though. We've got the Mole. Oh my god, I love the Mole. 3/4 quest for 1. Fascinating. This shouldn't exist, yet it does. It may be older than the Great Illuminator itself. Or like Lore Pip of something. This is my family. This card's insane. Gain 1 lore, draw a card. This card's so good. Again, great in the Mirabelle Madrigal theme deck, called Madrigal theme. But yeah, I really like this card a lot. There's the Gathering Knowledge and Wisdom, which is like the gain 2 lore. And I thought I would love that card, but it kind of sucks because it's uninkable and it doesn't replace itself. The fact that this is a song as well, and it draws a card, and it gains lore all at the same time. Honestly, I love this card. I think it's really great. Also kind of interesting with Ursula Deceiver of All, maybe, that you gain 2 lore and draw 2 cards. It's kind of interesting. And to the Experienced Enforcer, we're getting towards the end. 4 cost uninkable, 2/4 quest for 1. When you play this character, characters can't exert to sing songs until the start of your next turn. Each player pays 2 ink more to play actions or items. Kind of similar to Pete. I actually don't like this card that much, but I didn't like Pete that much either. Got review. I did. I just thought it was going to be overrated, and how wrong I was. It's uninkable. Kind of doubt it. I know a lot of people are pretty interested in this one, and there's like obviously some cool things you could do. I don't know. Maybe, maybe. Obviously, you could play this and Pete. 2/4 stat line that quests for 1 and it's uninkable is really poor. It does not have good stats. Restoring Atlantis, 5 cost uninkable action. Your characters can't be challenged until the start of your next turn. That's really interesting with like Robin Hood, Sharpshooter, for example. In times of danger, the crystal will choose a host, one of royal blood, to protect itself and its. I don't think it's. Is that the end? That's the end, guys. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. This is Hotel Room Specie from Berlin. Again, big stream coming up on Saturday and Sunday where I'm doing another 200 player tournament from Gamescom LAN. Big shout out to Card Market who sponsored the stream. I also want to give a shout out to a tournament that's happening soon in Stockholm, which I'm going to be attending. Link in the description for that. I do believe it's sold out, but you can get yourself on the wait list. Looking forward to that one for sure. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you all